hey. A win is a win is a win. I don't care what anybody says. 1-0 on the scoreboard for the U.S. men's national team in Kingston, Jamaica. That's all that really matters. Right, Chuck? Right? You can back me up on this, or does it? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I said this morning it was going to be 1-0. This is what I expected. Jamaica, it's hot. The pitch is terrible. It's soft. Everyone's slipping. The U.S. did a fantastic job of holding the principals under that press in the beginning. They said, okay, we're going to play through it. Jamaica caused some disruptions, but the early goal killed them. It killed their whole tactical game plan. Just absolutely killed it. And then the U.S. really weren't that threatened until the second half when momentum started to change. And that's when I was thinking, Poch, it's time to make some subs. Let's go. Hurry up. And I think they still came a little bit late, but in the end, it's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Now, Tones, I think you've probably played more away games in CONCACAF than me and Chuck combined. That looked like a pretty stereotypical away game in CONCACAF, no?
Yeah, Charlie, I give you credit, but I don't give you credit because it was almost like you knew it was going to be 1-0, right? You deserve credit, my friend. Yeah, look, it's you can go watch a game in the late 80s. You can watch a game in the late 90s in that place, and it's all going to look – I'm amazed that they haven't fixed the field. It's certainly not using it as an excuse, but you can clearly see it. It makes it difficult. So – I'm with you, Jimmy. A win is a win is a win, but I think we'll get into it. I know we still see some principles from Pochettino that I think we're going to continue to see moving forward.
All right, so we're going to get over to the Golasso Network or podcast or whatever we're going to do. You know what? Just hit like and subscribe, and let's get after it. Welcome into your favorite average to good podcast. Call it what you want. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside Charlie Davies and Tony Meola, and we are just reflecting upon the U.S.'s big win away from home, 1-0 against Jamaica, something that we haven't done in Kingston in quite some time. Maybe it wasn't the prettiest, but on that field, could you blame anybody if you didn't see the game? Chunks of grass were just coming out all over the place. Players were slipping all over the place. A stereotypical away game in CONCACAF for the U.S. men's national team. But a win is a win is a win. 1-0 to the red, white, and blue. Leg one, though. This is only first half. Got to go back to St. Louis on Monday and make sure we book our ticket for the semifinals in leg two. Big Tones, I'm coming to you on this. What were your overall takeaways? Or let's just say takeaway. We'll take away the plural and get singular here. Your biggest takeaway from this game?
Biggest takeaway is that I think we got an idea of how Mauricio Pochettino envisions this team, at least early on, and how he wants to try and play, right? With three in the back and two guys pushed high up the field. And I was just a little bit surprised in the second half when it started to get slow, why we didn't press a little bit. I feel like when we lay off, we're not a team that is good sitting at midfield, right, and trying to shift and move, because I feel like we don't pick the energy up. Whereas sometimes when you press, you make the energy, right? You make a turnover. Credit to Jamaica. They were a little bit better in the second half. I just find it hard to figure out how you would even begin to grade this game because the field was so bad, and we knew it was going to be, and it was, and it will continue to be forever. So we just take a win down there, and we come. Where are we going next? St. Louis.
St. Louis.
We're going to St. Louis next, and we'll figure it out there.
Now, Big Tones, I like where you're going with that we play better when we play on the front foot, right? Whether we have the ball or not. If we're all playing on the front foot, we seem to be a better team. Now, Chuck, I conveniently left out some of the details. We gave up a penalty. Matt Turner had a hell of a save and made sure that we didn't get scored on. Now, that could have changed the complexion of the game. Yes, we scored early. Ricardo Pepi, great ball. Christian Pulisic finding himself in a central role, clearly a key component for what Mauricio Pochettino wants to do. Nice little ball into Ricardo Pepi, who does the rest to make it 1-0. Does change the complexion of the game, but Jamaica could have got back into it had they scored that penalty, and they didn't. Your overall takeaway from this game?
Well, to go off of what you just said there. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't. But my biggest takeaway is all those Jamaican haters, huh? Where you at? No,
Where are they?
What'd I say? The U.S., I felt extremely comfortable watching them play in this match. And I'd say the biggest benefit to Mauricio Pochettino, which we're seeing now is, which Tony, you touched on, is in this I'd say it's like a 3-2-4-1. That's what it looks like, because they're playing with the back three. You have two midfielders who are kind of sitting, protecting the back three, just in case if there's a loose ball or a turnover. And then the four are kind of interchanging and moving. I liked what I saw in building out of the back. And there were sometimes, Joe Scally, improvement, looking forward. Tanner Tessmann, looking forward, playing between the lines. Center backs, Mark McKenzie, who we've seen over the years, like to play the safe ball, playing forward, playing to the striker's feet in tight areas. I love that. That's a step forward. Now, was the final ball lacking at times? Yeah, for the most part, but we got the early goal. And that's the one important thing when you're playing away from home on a crappy-ass pitch like that is score early, and that throws out their tactical game plan. They were screwed at that point. They really didn't threaten. There was all hopeful balls. I thought Mark McKenzie and Tim Ream did a great job of working together, so it was always 2v1. There were some little sketchy moments here and there, but for the most part, it was very comfortable. And, Matt Turner commits the penalty, but he makes up for it with the massive save.
But Cardoso puts Scally in a bad spot. Scally doesn't make a good decision from there.
Yeah. But in the end,
Ream gets
Matt Turner gave away the penalty.
Sure. But that's always the last domino. Hey, I'm on Big Tones' side here. It's not just on the goalkeeper. It's not always on the goalkeeper. There's more that always goes into it.
I didn't say. All right. Either way, he made the penalty. He did, regardless.
And he made the save.
Regardless, there were so many positives in the way that we controlled the tempo. And remember what Tony said. I like them pressing higher. Yeah, I would too, but you knew Jamaica weren't going to play. So especially on that pitch, they were going to try and launch it forward like they were. And that way we had protection. We had the cover. So from that standpoint, well done. And for Ricardo Pepi, getting that early goal for him, didn't really do much after that, but at least he got that early goal. And that was massive for him. You saw Brandon Vasquez come in, and he didn't capitalize on some of those golden chances that every striker wishes they had.
All right, we're going to get into the starting 11 here in a second. But first, if you're watching on the Golasso Network, make sure to join the Call It What You Want community over on the Golasso America YouTube channel. It's a pretty big tent, and we want more people to come join our circus, okay? That's what we want. Your favorite average to good circus and podcast on the Golasso America YouTube channel. All right, let's get into the starting 11, because Big Tones, you and I have been clamoring for a back three for a very long time, and we're getting it, baby. We got two wingbacks. One's Yunus Musah on the right. Got Jedi Robinson on the left. At some point, when he's healthy, probably going to be Serginho Dest. But we got Ream, McKenzie, and Scally in that back three. Tessmann and Cardoso as the holding sixes. Once I saw the double six in, which I predicted would happen, you knew they were going to go with the back three for sure. Pulisic, for me, though, he's set up in this graphic that we're showing a little bit on the left, I thought was a lot more central. Weston McKennie, I think they play a box in midfield. 2-6,
he was.
2-10. Yunus Musah out on the wide right, and then Ricardo Pepi as the 9. It's a 3-4-2-1. At times, defensively, you can see Jedi Robinson drop in, so it was more of a back four, and Scally would be the right back in that position. Okay, no problem. I think that was by design, and that's my favorite part about the 3-4-2-1 is that there's some fluidity in how you move based on where the ball is and based on the opponent and what they bring and their strengths and weaknesses. But Big Tones, any big surprises for you in that starting 11? I mean, that Tessmann and Cardoso was not on my bingo card together. I thought maybe one of them, but not both of them together.
Yeah, Charlie and I actually had a conversation before the game. Yeah, we didn't have these two in the midfield. We thought Weston would maybe sit a little bit deeper, or Musah. Three in the back, keep in mind, is only one we're building out, right? We defend with four in the back because Robinson is clearly and Musah doesn't play that deep, although he will track back, right? So, yeah, Johnny Cardoso is the big surprise for me. Unfortunately, he goes out, 20th minute. I wanted to see a little bit more. I thought he gets an opportunity to start, and unfortunately goes down. What I would like to see out of the two midfielders that play in there, too many times the ball gets played into them and they play it back or they play it square. Like none of them are on the half turn, and maybe I'll write it off tonight to the field conditions, right? Because you guys know you played there, And when the ball's bouncing to you like 4 times before it gets to you, it's like you got to concentrate too much to think about anything else that's going on. So maybe, but what I would like to see in St. Louis, I'm guessing that field's going to be pristine. Just turning a little bit. I thought Tessmann took a little bit too long. First 30 minutes, he was not involved in the game, and he made some poor decisions. And then he grew into the game. When he faces forward, he's much more comfortable, obviously, than what I'm asking him to do, and that's turn in the midfield. And again, Johnny, we didn't get to see enough from him, but Tillman came in. A little bit strange seeing him that deep in the midfield for me, because that we've been clamoring, we've been clamoring for him to be who he is at the club level, and that's not where he plays at the club level. So again, one of those tricky ones to sort of give a grade to, if you will, where he's playing a little bit out of position, but was okay. He had some moments in the second half that were pretty decent. So he had to fill a role tonight, and that was his job.
Okay, so interesting, Chuck. There's 3 changes in midfield from the last time the U.S. played. That was against Mexico. You had Aronson playing in that 10 spot, and you had Aiden Morris and Busio as the 6s. Aiden Morris tweaked or strained his knee, so he's out for both of these games now. Brendan Aronson was sick with flu-like symptoms, so he didn't even travel to Jamaica. He'll be joining the team when they return to the States tomorrow. So we knew Weston was going to come in. I would not surprised that he played a little bit higher. But Tessmann and Cardoso were a bit of a surprise. Now, what was even more of a surprise for me is that when Cardoso went out 20 minutes in due to a hamstring or a calf or whatever, you had Tillman come in. And Tillman played deep the whole time. And when Busio did end up subbing on, Busio stayed higher than Tillman. I actually thought, especially because of the chemistry that Busio and Tessmann had with Venezia playing in Serie A for a couple seasons, that just would feel like a natural fit. But Pochettino decided to go with Tillman and asked him to play a little bit deeper. That was a shock for me. I don't know how you felt about it when you saw that unfold.
Yeah, I think I was shocked to see both Tessmann and Cardoso playing together. I thought Cardoso was going to play. I did not see Tessmann getting the start. So I have to say I was really impressed with Tessmann, though, throughout the game, because he did grow into the game, and he loves to play forward. I think the move to Lyon has really helped him. You just can see there's much more confidence with the way he plays, and he got quicker with the ball at his feet and quicker in his mind, right? So that's so important in that position to know where you want to go or have the couple options before you receive the ball, which that's exactly what happened, because he was very quick with his distribution. I really liked Weston McKennie in that attacking role too, because you could feel his comfort in higher up the pitch and playing between the lines, and you didn't feel like, oh, I'm out of position and the team's unbalanced when he is playing in a lower, a deeper role in midfield, when he likes to make those runs. And then next thing you know, everyone's pulled out of position. So I liked seeing Weston higher up the pitch, and Christian did a fantastic job too of getting on the ball. He got the shit kicked out of him, but he did a good job of getting on the ball, and the game really changed when they got that early goal. So, you just have to be better at putting those teams away, because we all know as you get better and against better competition, you don't put the teams away, it comes back to haunt you.
At Big Tones, are you picking up a little trend here from Chuck? Some of the words he's using, his vernacular, all positive, fantastic, excellent, great performance.
It's late, Jimmy.
Wait,
it's late.
when is the real Chuck going to show up? Because this is like super positive. Happy to be here, Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck, what's happening? What have you been drinking before the show, baby? Chuck after dark.
I'm positive about this performance. I know it's 1-0. It's a crappy pitch. And what didn't look great all the times.
I don't know what's happening.
I am happy with this. You know me. I'm real as can be. If I wasn't happy, I wouldn't be here smiling. I'm happy. When I watched the game, Jamaica didn't threaten. I was not worried at all. I really wasn't. Yeah, sure, they had that momentum. But
sure. Listen, to start the second half.
The Ream handball was sketchy. I don't know.
That was definitely a handball. I don't know why they didn't look at it. VAR could have intervened there.
You thought that one was a handball? You thought that?
I did. I thought that hit him straight on the bicep. Straight on the bicep. That's a handball.
That was a handball.
I wish we'd have seen it again, right? I wish we'd have seen it one more time to have another look, but yeah.
Yeah, so what I thought was interesting, and I want to get everybody's perspective, including everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, post-game, U.S. Jamaica. The second half, there was clear tactics that have changed. Clear tactics changed from Jamaica.
This chat has me cracking up.
Did you get triggered already?
No,
There's nothing to be triggered. You can't be triggered today. He's
no,
too happy.
I'm not triggered. I'm happy.
He's don't worry, be happy
said,
right
Hey, Chuck must have won his parlay off this match.
now. That is facts. I absolutely
They
love
got
that.
you, man. They got you.
Yeah,
Well, something changed though, because at the start of the second half, Jamaica took a grip of the game, in my humble opinion, and created some good chances, and it looked like we were under it. You had Musah making tackles behind Matt Turner to clear balls out. You had Matt Turner diving back in because there was almost an Olympico from Leon Bailey on a corner, the handball that could have been called but wasn't. 1v1 situations, I think somebody got beat, but they didn't call it, where the guy could have fell, but he waited too long to do it. We were under it. And this is one of the things, Tones, that we talked about under Greg Berhalter with this particular group of players is game management. You're up 1-0, and sometimes when you go up 1-0 that early, as you and I learned way back when in MLS Cup against DC, I don't even want to really go and get into that, but when you score early, it's hard at times to manage a game when you're like, shit, we got 85 minutes to kind of, do we go for that second, or we just kind of sit back and wait? Everything kind of gets a little bit different for both teams, obviously, but it felt like Jamaica and Steve McLaren, the manager for them, had a nice plan in place. They just couldn't execute or take advantage of their opportunities.
Yeah, I think the foul or the almost foul you're talking about was Cephas, right down the left side, beat Scally. And right. I thought once he got close to the box, I'm like, you got to lay off of him at that point, right? He turned the corner, and Cephas can run, man. They talked. I remember him last year talking about he was like the fastest man in Jamaica at the time, you know, and the guy can get after you. So, we talk about killing games, right? How many times do we mention it? You got two ways to do it. You either attack and get another goal, or you defend. And it was clear that in this second half, if we got a second goal in this game, it was going to come on a counter, right? Because we started so deep, and there were like moments for Jamaica, but there wasn't a moment in the game where I thought like, man, we're really under it right now. Jamaica, they're going to get a goal for sure. You know how you feel those games where you just kind of know a team's going to get a goal based on what they're doing. So credit. Look, it's not easy. It's Jamaica at home, by the way, who's down 1-0. I think we would have taken this score, but they've got to come after the game knowing that it's not going to be easy in St. Louis. And you kind of get that sense, that feel, if you're Jamaica, like this might be our moment, but they never took it to another gear. There were moments, but it came off of like a ball bouncing. Leon Bailey, I know everyone loves him. I'm not a huge fan, if I'm being honest, because I always feel like when I watch him, everything almost happens, right? Much did that just the end. And I know he scores some goals at his club and all that stuff, but I just feel like, at least in the national team, when I watch him, it's like that was almost a goal. It was almost a great shot. I mean, his best moment was a corner kick. I don't know if he was really trying to beat Matt Turner at the near post on an Olympico. If you get beat, it's normally on the far post on those. But I thought we nullified him pretty well.
Yeah, that's what he should learn moving into leg two. Once he picked that fight with Jedi Robinson, Leon Bailey was in the back pocket of that whole left side, including Tim Ream, who blocked a few of his shots and crosses. And then Tim, I thought, actually got really sharp after the handball that didn't get called. Chuck, when I look at the final stats, let's just put a bow on this part of the conversation here, our overall thoughts. Jamaica, 12 shots, 2 on target. U.S., 6 shots, 3 on target. We had 60% possession, and corners pretty even, fouls pretty even. I'm with you, Tones. We would have taken this result. This is the score that Chuck predicted. And now we go back. First half is done, and we set ourselves up to have success in leg two. And that's really all that really matters going into the next one. But any last thoughts on the game overall, Chuck?
You have to say there's beauty in winning these type of matches. Just think about some of those CONCACAF matches on the road when everything is against you. The pitch is terrible. You know, the weather conditions, you're hot as hell, but you get the job done. This is one of those old school wins. And there were times where they kept possession. They made Jamaica chase. Jamaica lost a little bit of their legs. You could see that, but it wasn't clean necessarily all the time, right? Whether it was the final pass, final shot, or maybe it was put somebody eventually in a bad spot and we lose the ball. But essentially, it's a step forward. That's what I'm hyped about. Finally, I'm seeing why you bring a coach like Pochettino into the setup is, guys, this is our identity. This is how we're going to build up. This is what it looks like. And this is how we move at certain times. And if we do get caught out of possession, this is how we recover. I saw a lot of those ideas. So I am happy.
Wow. Chuck is high on life, everybody. Unbelievable scenes here
Let's
on
go!
Call It What You Want. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll start to get into more of the details from the game. Don't go anywhere. Okay, what's up? Welcome back in to Call It What You Want. I'm Fitz Jim alongside Chuck Wagon and Big Tones. And we went on to the Twitters and asked the audience, make sure you follow us at Golazo America, who was the man of the match for the U.S. men's national team. We put up a poll, and the final results are in.
Ooh,
Ricardo Pepi. Ricardo Pepi, 32.8%. Outlast Matt Turner, 31.9%. Christian Pulisic in third, getting the bronze medal, 28.4%. Tanner Tessmann, fourth at 6.9%. Do we agree with this poll? Personally, I had Matt Turner. I just thought he made a couple big saves. Obviously, the penalty, but just had good presence. He had another good play, too, we didn't talk about, where he came off his line, ball came up over the top, and he headed it out of bounds or out of danger. Yeah, I really appreciated that approach and that mentality, and it's clear that he looks sharp. Not playing a lot for his club team, but I thought he looked pretty sharp tonight. Big Tones, coming to you. Who was your man of the match? Do you agree with that poll?
I voted for Matt Turner in that one. Penalty kick save away from home when you're up 1-0, change the momentum of the game. It's a pretty good save because that ball was hit with a lot of pace.
Yeah, it was.
People will say, hey, it's at a height for the goalkeeper. Those are when the guy tries to bend one, right? That one was hit with some venom, and Matt Turner made a really good play. You mentioned the few other plays that he made as well. You got the Olympico that's a difficult thing, right? You're dealing with the crossbar, you're dealing with the front post. So he did a lot of really good things. And maybe, I can't remember, but maybe the first game in a while where we didn't see any blunders with his feet, right? He was clean with his feet, making it simple on maybe the worst field that he's going to play on in CONCACAF. So figure that out. But,
yeah, make that.
But I picked Matt Turner in mind. But you know what? Pepi gets a goal and
well, what
scorers.
A surprise, Tony! You picked a goalie. What a surprise!
Oh, okay, who'd you vote for then?
First time all year that I picked a goalie.
Don't get negative on us now, Chuck. Now we know you're pretending.
Yeah, look at you. Who'd you pick, by the way?
Who'd you pick?
Let me guess. Okay. The goal scorer.
Okay. I'll tell you who I picked. I do think it's Matt Turner's man of the match, but I picked Tanner Tessmann because I think he deserves some credit for his performance tonight. So I did pick Tanner Tessmann in that vote, but Matt Turner deserves man of the match for his performance, like you said. But if you're looking at guys who really made a positive impact, I think Turner really stood out. I think Ream still cemented himself as the best center back that we have. But Mark McKenzie, he paired well with him. I still think Mark was a little soft at times, needs to be a little bit more firm in his challenges.
Finally, here comes Chuck coming out of his shell.
Hey, Scally, same thing, right? I think he found a good spot. He's very comfortable at tucking in as a right center back in that back three. He's comfortable. You don't need him forging down the channels and looking to create. And he did take some time to make some forward passes. I think he's really working at that. So I'm happy that he's taking steps forward. Tanner Tessmann, I thought, had a very, very strong match. Really good with his spacing and finding the right outlet, making the decisions that needs to be made in that position to get the team into the attacking half. Christian was good. Also found good spots, got fouled a little too much. I think in games like this.
Well, you have to expect that. That's normal.
Yeah, but maybe get it off your feet a little bit quicker, though. In those situations. I thought
He's so good at dicing people up, though. So good at dicing people up when he gets going.
Yunus Musah's a little quiet in this.
He was, but God, that play he made at the back post. When I watched it a couple times where he helped clear that ball out of a very
defensive one.
Yeah, the defensive one. He's the only one that recognizes what's about to happen before it happens. Not Scally, not McKenzie, not Ream. It's Yunus Musah. You can see him kind of hit another gear like, oh, shit, this is going to be dangerous. Did you see how excited he got after he made the play? Because he knew exactly what was going to happen. For sure. It was awesome. It was like I love that. Taking pride in defending. I've got plenty of time for that. And I was really
I would have never thought that from you, Jimmy.
Thanks, Chuck.
That plays just soccer IQ, right? Like that's not coaching, that's not tactics, that's
recognition.
Just a guy that read a play and he realized he has to make a play, right? So you could talk about 4-2-3-1 or whatever you want to slice up the formation as, but at times you just need players to make the right plays and make the right decisions. And Musah, you mentioned it, was the first to react and the best to react in that one.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and I'm excited to see him with more minutes. However, I don't know if he's going to get more minutes because Tim Weah will be available in leg 2. So let's start having a bigger conversation. I know that Chuck is borrowing my Tanner Tessmann PJs tonight because he's all over. If you can just have them at this point because you're clearly wearing them. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, he deserved it. But who do you think will stick from leg 1 to leg 2, and who makes way for Tim Weah, assuming that he gets the start in leg 2? I guess Chuck, I'll come to you. I'll put you on the hot.
Well, Tim Weah is going to play wide right.
Okay, so Musah's out.
Yeah, I think Musah's out.
Yeah. Okay. So Musah's out.
I mean,
Weah's in. What do you think in midfield? You could put Musah mid-central.
He played 87 minutes.
That's fair.
So
okay. So
that
now
makes
it's about
sense
rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry. Keep going.
Does he drop maybe? Because now you got Cardoso. Johnny Cardoso's out. We're assuming, right? He's out. You got Aiden Morris out. So you got Tanner Tessmann in there, and
Aronson is sick as a dog, right?
You could put Chris Richards plays a little 6, or did at least for Crystal Palace.
No,
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
just saying.
In that instance, I would play Musah in the midfield because you could see in the game we talked about Malik Tillman. When he came on Morning Footy, he's like, "I'm an attacking player," and Peter Bosch knows. I hope he knows. I need to be up the field. I need to be a number 10.
That's why it was surprising Tillman was at a 6. Yeah, I get it.
Right.
Sorry.
And he came in, he stayed there for a little bit. But you saw him go past Weston. And I was like, oh, is he gonna make Weston go back? And he just unbalanced the midfield because now you have a player who's supposed to be playing in the 6 role or a lower in the midfield, and he's just venturing forward on his own because that's where he wants to be. And
that's why I thought it was a weird stuff.
US started to lose it a little bit.
Yeah, put Busio there. I think Busio can do it. If you wanted to roll Tessmann out again, you could go Tessmann, Busio. That's a possibility. But
Busio looks confident, doesn't he? He looks confident in his movements. He looks confident when the ball comes to him. He covers a lot of ground. And of course he knew his role was short tonight, so you expend all your energy. But I like the way Busio looks.
Yeah, I'm the same. Is there anybody else? And let me roll through the lineup really quick. So Turner, resident goalkeeper. Turner gets to start again, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
Jedi, Ream, McKenzie, Scally. I don't see him changing that. It's basically 3-4 consecutive games now. It would be. It's just going to be that 6th spot based on the minutes and the health. And do you maybe put Musah there, like we just discussed? Weah would come on the right. Would you go with Pulisic? Yeah, I could go with that. Do you got Pulisic and McKennie again, and Pepi up high? Is that your front 3, Chuck?
And Weah out wide right.
Yeah, right. So you wouldn't see too many changes here. Okay. So you got Trusty, Zendejas, Busio, Tillman, and Vasquez all came off the bench. Trusty, Zendejas pretty late. Busio, Tillman, and Vasquez. Tillman, significant minutes. He got 70 in general. Busio, Vasquez. Let's just talk about Vasquez really quick. He did well with his minutes against Mexico when he came off the bench. How do you think he did tonight? He looked a little unsure of himself. I saw Christian get a little frustrated with him when he would play safe and he should play forward.
Or the pass that Christian played to him in the box, and
hit it first time.
He let it run by him, and so Christian was like, "What the hell?" I think there's 2 parts to this. So there's one: should he have done better with the chances that he had? Yes, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But then the second part to it is he was in the right places. If he wasn't in the right places and didn't have those chances, then you say, "Well, you played and you didn't get any chances." I've always been told, as long as you're getting chances, you're putting yourself in the right positions, and it doesn't fall for you, chances are it'll eventually fall for you. If you have the quality and you're putting yourself in the right places, it will fall for you. This was one of those nights that you say, man, I didn't take advantage of my opportunity, and he didn't. but he put himself in good spots. So you just hope maybe he gets more another opportunity in the next game, because if it doesn't, then you could start to see maybe it slip away with everyone else getting healthy.
Right. Well, here's a fun fact about our strikers.
Jimmy, did they show a replay of the ball Pulisic to Vasquez? I don't remember. I just wonder if he played it a little bit too far in front of him. And
I didn't see a replay of it, but
well,
my initial thought was the same as Chuck's. Yeah,
me too. Right, because you're thinking, right, it's actually an easy pass for Christian. You're thinking he's going to lay into it first time. I just wonder if he played it a little bit too far, because a striker's instinct, I mean, Charlie, you know better than we would, but a striker's instinct is not to let the ball run across his body like that, right?
Only if you don't have your feet set. So I think what happened was because of the distance and that the defender was coming at Christian, I think he put a little bit more weight into the pass. And so therefore it came a little bit quicker than he anticipated, which is why his feet weren't set. And then it runs by him, and then the angle's gone away, and it's very difficult to beat Andre Blake from a tight angle like that.
Whoa, we're forgetting about the other chance too. It just hit me right now where
the Musah gives
him
the
ball
to him,
and he just scuffs it. Like Andre Blake didn't really have to do anything but fall over and catch it to his right. He had a chance and time to take a touch, or even a half touch, get it out of his feet and actually put some power behind it.
He let the moment get him.
You can see Pochettino frustrated on that.
I've been there before. When you're so excited, you're like, finally, here's my chance, and you're too eager. He was too eager, too anxious, and by the time he was swinging, the ball was behind him. He got zero power on it. Yeah, might as well have been a back pass. So, one of those things that he's probably not going to be able to sleep tonight, because all strikers, you're thinking about the game as you're rerunning in your head, you're replaying all the moments you had, and that one is going to keep him up tonight. I promise you.
Well, a player who does seem to take his opportunities really, really well, Ricardo Pepi. A fun fact here. There have been 4 players for the U.S. men's national team to score at least 12 goals under age 22. Landon Donovan, Josie Altidore, Christian Pulisic, and after tonight, Ricardo Pepi. So congrats to El Tren on that. But now let's pivot to Jedi Robinson, because we threw up another poll. This is about Jedi and just how much he has grown over the last, let's say, 2 seasons. He has just taken some big strides, just more consistent in his decision-making, a lot more confident in his positioning defensively. So we did a poll. Would Jedi walk into England's starting 11? That is a good question. 60% of our friends online who follow Golazo America, that's at Golazo America, go make it happen if you're not already, said yes. 40% said no. As a comparison, he'd be going up against, let's say, Luke Shaw, who has got the most caps for England. And Luke Shaw has played 10 games since the beginning of the 23-24 season, whereas Jedi leads the EPL, the Premier League, as the left back with the most games played, 48 minutes played, assists, and recoveries. What an absolute beast. However, England did start and beat Greece today. They had Rico Lewis playing on the left side. He had 100% passing accuracy, but I expect that from a Pep Guardiola coached player. What do you guys think about this? And Big Tones, do you think Jedi could walk into England's team?
Yeah, I think he can play there. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Look what he does in the Premier League week in and week out, and he's, we keep hearing rumors about him everywhere. So I don't think there's any doubt he can go and play. Well, thankfully he's with us, but walking into that team, I think they'd love to have a player like him. He kind of suits their style, the way that he plays, getting up and down the left-hand side. He probably can improve a little bit in that final third of the field. And he's improved so much in that area over the last couple of years. So, yeah, there's no doubt. When you start, I saw the discussion, Chuck, you had on Morning Footy, I think it was Morning Footy, about, is he a top 10 fullback or left fullback in the world? And I mean, you can certainly make an argument for that. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Everyone's calling you a homer, Tony, in the chat now.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're a homer for saying
that. They misspelled Charlie. They put my name. They don't know how to spell Charlie.
Listen, I would say I would take Jedi over Luke Shaw. That feels like a no-brainer to me. Okay, so we have a couple comments. Played Out said Luke Shaw is injured all the time. Walks in no problem. Okay. Mad Futter says, of course it's an American channel with these results. SMH. Okay, Mad Futter. And then Paul says that Jedi has the ability to play at the level of the competition, and with whom he's playing, he could easily play for the Three Lions and a top 4 Prem team. Obviously, the system would make a difference in terms of how effective he could be, but it's clear that the guy is coming into his own. He's a hell of a player.
What do you think this poll, if you put this poll in England out, with the guy said we're an American channel, if you put this poll in England out, what do you think the reaction would be? Can Jedi Robinson play in the English national team? I'm guessing it would be yes.
Yeah, he'd be in.
Yeah.
I'd say an overwhelming percentage would say yes.
Right.
Yeah, and they watch him week in and week out, and they're really astute fans. They know what's going on around the league. I can't imagine the poll would look any different if it was in England.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're thin in that position anyway. Remember, they brought an injured Luke Shaw to the Euros over the summer. So I don't know. It seems like a no-brainer to me, but I guess Americans are gonna American. We're gonna homer.
I'll tell you right now.
Homer.
If you do that, they're gonna ask, would Harry Kane walk into the U.S. lineup? Would Phil Foden walk in? The list would go on. They would do the whole same thing to us.
That's fine. They still haven't beat us in a World Cup. It's fine. It's all good. All right, we're gonna take our next break and call it what you want. When we come back, we're gonna talk some more about the U.S. men's national team because that's what we love to do. Don't go anywhere. Okay, what's up? Welcome back to Call It What You Want. I'm Jimmy alongside Charles and Anthony. Is it Anthony, Big Tones?
Antonio.
Antonio Meola.
Antonio.
Anthony's nothing. Yeah, Anthony's nothing.
Anthony means nothing to him. Don't do that.
Antonio.
It's all Antonio.
So let's talk about Mauricio Pochettino. We've talked about the players, the performance, but let's talk about him. You know what's crazy is that we only have 6 more camps until the World Cup roster has to be announced for 2026. 6 more camps.
No, that's crazy.
6 more camps. Now, one of them is a Gold Cup, right? So that should be, hopefully, a month long. So that's going to be a pretty big and much longer camp than the one that he's been experiencing right now. He actually said before this game, they interviewed him before the game, he said, we didn't have that much time to prepare. Like, welcome to international football, big guy. This is just how it goes. And so where do we grade him? Big Tones, you said that you saw some patterns of play. Charlie talked about it as well. I know you're not into grades and ratings, but kind of where are you on where you think he should be based on taking over a new job and understanding our player pool?
Well, one thing I like is that we can't easily predict the starting lineup, right? We went through that for a couple of years. I felt like we could predict every lineup. I like what he's trying to do. He's trying to give players confidence in building out of the back, even in a night where they knew that they were going to play in an awful field. We still tried to do it. So he's showing players confidence. I think we're doing it with the idea that we need to get forward a little bit faster. It's not just possession. I don't know if you remember that first half. There was a sequence on the far side of the field around midfield. It was Pulisic, Anthony Robinson, Tanner Tessmann, and I think Weston McKennie got involved, where the movement, they were in really tight space. They had like 4 or 5 passes before it came back and back around the back 3 to the other side, and they got out. So I like what I'm seeing from the standpoint of we're seeing ideas from Pochettino that we haven't seen for a while. Yunus Musah starts on the right-hand side. We know Pulisic is coming inside. He doesn't hang out there the whole time. He tries to find some space in the middle of the field. Now, Scally doesn't come nearly as much as Anthony Robinson comes, but I like that they have that freedom. Christian clearly has freedom to go wherever he wants. Weston in that position has freedom to go where he wants. And what was the complaint for the last maybe year or so of Greg Berhalter's reign was that we looked like we were too stagnant. Like, you have to go here and you have to go here. And I feel like we're getting away from that a little bit. So that part I like.
Wait, you don't like to talk about what happens in zone 36 on the field? Or like, we got to be better. We got to get more touches in zone 18. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we're just not going to have success. I got a PowerPoint I can show you, Big Tones, if you want to see a PowerPoint.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
How this is going to work. So, Chuck, there are some patterns that we are seeing. Yep. We clearly have a formation in buildup where we're going to a back 3. We have our 2 holding. So 3-4-2-1 in build up. I think when we have that too, Christian is being asked to play centrally. He picked up a lot of balls, created the first and only goal for us of the whole game by picking up the ball centrally, picking it up in a nice pocket of space, turning as on the half turn as like he does, and then going with the change of speed and then laying a nice ball off to Ricardo Pepi, who did the rest. But I like him in that spot. And to Tones' point, it makes us more unpredictable, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if you go to try to scout us, you're like, okay, well, Christian does pop up here. But wow, sometimes he pops up wide, or actually he's even the second striker, or actually he dropped a little bit deeper to be off maybe an 8 in this particular situation. And that's just one player of many that is getting a lot of freedom. What are the things that you've seen that you really liked?
Well, I loved how Tanner Tessmann, there were a couple of times he's supposed to be the deep lying midfielder. He made late runs out of midfield into the channel.
I remember that.
So
that was cool.
So we started to see some movement in the midfield, almost too much, where guys were running into the same zone. We're talking about zone 18 and get out. Well, we had a couple of guys running into each other, and or there was a pass into someone's feet, but someone was playing like right off their shoulder, and their lines were definitely crossed. So I obviously it's a work in progress. We could see that in this match, but I will say from an aesthetic, if you're just watching the tactics and the formations and the passing lines, the sequences, you're seeing an identity, and I think that's what really pumps me up. That gives me hope, is that we're seeing an identity. And we don't have Tyler Adamson, we didn't have Tim Weah in, we were Serginho Dest. There's still a lot of Gio. There's still a lot to tinker with, but from a nucleus standpoint, I really I'm encouraged with what I saw.
Okay, so using that as a segue into this part of
Timeout. Also, I want to make a point. This is an away fixture in CONCACAF. We've seen this team in away fixtures in matches that actually matter, that count for something. It could be really ugly, and typically does not go our way. How many times have we watched them play on the road in CONCACAF? We had to cover it World Cup qualifying. It was terrible. Every time we tried to find a positive, I was like, shit, I can't find a positive.
Okay, so our last 5.
This is positive.
Our last 5 CONCACAF away games at Mexico, obviously we just lost in October 2-0. At Trini, we lost 2-1. That was the second leg, though, and we were up 3-0 in the first leg. So, yeah, we lost, but we still ended up going through. We beat Grenada 7-1. We drew to El Salvador 1-1. That was Nations League as well, the group stages. And then we had at Costa Rica World Cup qualifying. Now, we had already qualified at that point for the World Cup, but it was a pretty disappointing performance. We got spanked. Yeah. So to your point, it's not that easy, and we've demonstrated that it hasn't been that easy for us with this particular core group of players. So as we've seen now a few games under Mauricio Pochettino, who are his guys? Like, every coach has their guys. They can say whatever, treat everybody the same, so on and so forth. But there's still
Turner. We'll start with Turner.
Turner. Tim Ream for sure. I thought Christian
Tim Ream
Yeah, I thought Christian would just be kind of Captain America from here on out. But Tim Ream's got the captain's armband and obviously getting trusted.
Robinson.
Jedi Robinson for sure.
Yep.
Pulisic, obviously.
Musah. We can all agree Musah is one of his guys.
Well, we'll see if Weah comes in.
No,
we'll see if
he's found reasons to play him, right?
He's
from the very beginning. Sure. Yeah, he's very high on Musah.
Okay,
so,
and then
it's hard to say McKenzie and Scally aren't his guys. I mean, this is 3 games in a row now, right? With that group. Yeah. But Chris Richards is in camp, so I wonder. Alison Trusty came on as a sub. I wonder if those guys get minutes in leg 2. But the problem is, this isn't a dick around friendly, right? This is a game you got to go out and do the business. Not to say those guys can't do the job, but if you were just bringing them in and had different ideas of where you wanted to get them minutes, I don't know. It's interesting. So I guess we'll find out. I guess we're still going to wait to find out who his guys are, but I think we can certifiably say Ream, Turner, Jedi, Christian, Musah. But I think McKennie and Weah will probably get in there at some point too.
Tessmann getting a start, that tells you something today.
That's huge too. Yeah. That's true.
Remember,
all right, we're going to take
Poch's assistant went out to go watch him at Lyon, right? And
that's true.
Next thing you know, he's really involved, and then he stood out today. So, job well done.
Job well done. We'll see if that earns him a starting nod in leg 2. All right, we're going to take our last break and call what you want. When we come back, it is time for a segment we like to call Trigger Who You Want. We're going to take your comments and questions and concerns. And
Not
we'll see
tonight.
if you can
It's
get
late.
happy Chuck here triggered later in the show. Here we go. We'll be right back. Hey, ho, let's go. All right, here we go. Trigger Who You Want. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us post Jamaica US leg 1 CONCACAF Nations League quarterfinals. Leg 2 again happening on Monday. We'll be coming to you once again live right after that show and give you everything that you need to know. We'll actually have a preview for you for leg 2 over the next couple days. Now, let's get into Trigger Who You Want. Do we have some comments? Producer Des, here we go. Izzy says, Pepi isn't that good. We're really suffering for 9s. Chuck, this is your area of expertise. Take it away.
Pepi isn't that good. We're really good to.
No,
so
we're really suffering for 9s. Like we need help in that department.
Well, this is an opportunity for Pepi just to show that if he gets an opportunity, he scores, and he is a goal scorer. There's no doubt about that. The same thing happens in Holland. He gets chances, he scores. But tonight,
that's his job, by the way. Yeah, to score goals.
Yeah. That's part of his job. That's part of it. And think about nowadays,
the most important part of his job.
We love to hear this word true 9. What's a true 9, right? So I look at Pepi and I say, okay, what else can you do for the team, right? Hold up play, running the channels, the press, or can you beat players one-on-one? Can you pull players out of position? So I think from a standpoint of keeping possession and holding up the ball, he did pretty well, but he didn't get too many balls and he didn't get too many touches. So ultimately, you want to judge him on his chances, and he really only had one chance tonight. So
and he took it.
Yeah, and he took it. So
he took it.
It's a positive. You walk away with a positive.
We somehow got away from judging number 9s by scoring goals. All of a sudden, we're getting away from that, huh?
Well, the game has changed, Tony. How many teams play with 9s? They play with false 9s. They play with midfielders.
I thought his hold-up play was okay tonight.
Yeah.
I thought he came and checked in good spots. He lost a couple that bounced off the one in particular midfield bounced off the turf, but he comes up in good spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like his spatial awareness tones, and Chuck. I really like his timing of his runs. I think he's gotten so much better at that, and whether he just was going to naturally learn that anyway, or it's the environment he's in at PSV and kind of being the understudy of Luke de Jong, who's also excellent at that. Maybe like when I look at Luke de Jong, who plays over him consistently there, and he's the captain of PSV. He's not like the most tremendous athlete of all time, but the guy thinks the game and he's thinking quick. And I feel like I've seen a lot more of that from Ricardo Pepi consistently. Yes, there are obviously other elements that can bring into it, but I wouldn't say that he isn't very good. And if he's scoring on his one chance, I will take that all day, every day. You and I, all three of us have played in games where we've been around strikers that maybe don't take their chances. Sometimes they get 5 of them and they can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Big chances missed. Big chances missed, which I had a long conversation with Mike LaHood. We were talking about Jonathan David this morning and big chances missed. And is Jonathan David elite / world class, or is he
the conversation?
Is he where he's supposed to be? Like, has he maxed out? Is he plateaued? So we had that conversation. I'm not triggered. I'm happy.
He triggered himself.
Tones, I was going to say, first time in podcast history, Chuck triggered himself by bringing Jonathan David into the conversation. Chuck, that is amazing. Well done. I don't know. That's like, 3 years of this podcast, and you finally triggered yourself, dude. That's fantastic. All right, do we have any other comments? Here we go. Cyrus says, Mark McKenzie is better than Chris Richards. That's from Cyrus. I would say that is still up in the air for me as a resident center back. Chris Richards, when healthy, can be very sharp. I wasn't entirely impressed with Chris Richards during the September window. Now, I know the team was in transition We're playing a very motivated Canada team led by a very highly motivated coach to get a result against us. The whole team didn't perform well. I didn't think he looked great in that game. He wore the captain's armband against New Zealand. You're wearing that, baby. You got to be the guy. You got to be leading it. So there's still some elements of Chris Richards I'd like to see more of. But I've been really impressed with Mark McKenzie. I love the move that he made to France. I think his confidence has grown. There are a couple iffy moments tonight, sometimes isolated in 1v1 situations. For the most part, he looked okay, but sometimes a little nervy. Maybe it's the field. Maybe it's the environment. We'll have to wait and see. But the fact that he's getting trusted by Pochettino in this way speaks volumes as to Mark McKenzie. But as Chris Richards gets healthy, I'm very curious to see how that competition forms. And I'm just glad we're going to be competitive in those spots, right? Especially if we're going to move to a back three a little bit more consistently. So I can't get my full approval, but I think it's more of a coin flip more than it's ever been.
Give me another trigger question. Let's go. Come on, chat. Let's pick it up.
Anson says, Cade Cowell should have played tonight in all caps. He's yelling at you, Chuck. Cade Cowell should have played tonight.
No.
There's no like because he should have played because or he just should have played.
We need
like
make it make sense, Chuck. Why? Is he just not ready? Well, Zendejas got in over him, so I guess you could argue Cade should get in over Zendejas.
He's not ready yet. I mean, Cade Cowell is still yet to show what he could do at this level because he's very just north and south, and this is one of those games where you want to keep the ball and control it and not just run like with no head and just bombing forward. So I don't think that would have been the right move.
Okay. We have to respect it, Big Tones. Okay, so one thing here before we let everybody go. We had our producers dig into the archives, Chuck, and they found a photo of you and Jake Paul in Houston for a charity match. And this is relevant because not that anybody thinks Jake Paul's relevant, but he is fighting Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson, this weekend. So first of all, how close are you with Jake Paul? That's one. Second, do you think he stands a chance against Iron Mike? And third, which current or former U.S. men's national team player do you think would make the best boxer? A lot of questions there for you, Chuck, and me and Big Tones will answer.
Yeah. We're not close, but we did. We were cool. We were on the same team in that charity game that Stu Holden put together for Houston, which was awesome. It was a great event. I think Iron Mike Tyson's Iron Mike Tyson. He might not be able to go long, but a couple hits and it's done skis for him. What was the third question?
Which current or former U.S. men's national team player would make the best boxer? Can I chime in with Oguchi
Onyewu? Yeah. I beat you to it.
No. Oh, Gooch. I mean, I was trying to think there was like
Gooch could take body shots and then just he has that long reach.
He got a long reach.
He's quick.
Yeah. Didn't he also he beat Zlatan's ass, right? In training at AC Milan?
He whooped Zlatan. Honestly, he whooped Zlatan. I know the story has not. He doesn't even like to talk about it, but he whooped Zlatan. Zlatan feared for his life, and all the Milan players feared for his life. Bocanegra,
Carlos.
No.
Listen, I play with Carlos. Known him forever. He's got dinosaur arms, T-Rex arms. Like he doesn't have
got little
reach.
arms,
like
he
can't even do a throw in. He can't get his arms over his head to do. He's
low key like a teddy bear too. He's low key a teddy bear.
He is.
He's not like I'm gonna.
Clint Dempsey. Clint, I think could probably scrap. I don't know about formal boxing, but I think he can.
No, he's a scrapper. He's not a boxer.
Right. So like you want him in an alley with you, Clint Dempsey.
Yeah, he's in an alley, not in a ring. Yeah, he's not.
I feel like Jay Demerit's in that same bucket.
Demerit. Yeah, it's a good shout. Good shout.
Good shout.
Good shout. I like that one. All right, guys, that's it. We are done. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. As always, make sure you're tuning on your notifications, or if you're listening to this on podcast or Golasso. Listen, we're going to have a special preview for leg 2 coming up for you. Then we'll have a reaction show after that. It's going to be a lot of fun because that's what we do here at Call It What You Want. We have a lot of average to good fun, and it is a blast. Thank you so much for hanging out. Congrats again to the U.S. men's national team for a big win away from home in CONCACAF, and we hope that they can repeat that in leg 2. We'll see you guys soon. Later.